Welcome to Create Grow Profit Coaching Stories. I'm Morris, and today I'm here with Valeria Karusinova, and she helps female hustlers step away from the headless chicken run. Valeria, thank you so much for being here today. Where are you calling in from?
Hi, Morris. Thank you very much for having me. And I'm calling from Belgium, the country of chocolate, breeches, beer, and waffles. So, in case somebody gonna travel here, pack a pants one size bigger because you're gonna need them.
I loved chocolate, beer, and waffles. Well, I'm near you. I'm in Switzerland. We also have the chocolate. We also have the beer, but we don't have the waffles. And we're definitely not as popular as you are for the beer, just the chocolate. That's what we have in common.
I'm back.
Valeria, my first question on the show always is how did you become a coach and when did you for the first time officially start calling yourself a coach?
Oh, the journey wasn't a straightforward one. It's still a roller coaster drive, and every time it gives me the goosebumps. So, the one thing that I was coaching already during my career time, during my corporate life. It was in clinical trial research. I was doing and working in that area and responsible for the team. So I was already coaching slightly all my team members and empower them to work independently, to enjoy their work, and to be confident and comfy in their areas of expertise and at their work. And so, one way after another, at a certain point, I start to feel like something is missing. And also, for me, my passion was starting to lacken a little bit when I was at work. I can do the project management. You wake up me during the night. I will give you every step in the way, even now. But it's something needed to be give away because something needs to go away. Something needs to come for me to feel more fulfilled and for me to feel comfier for myself in my role. So at that point, coaching was one of the obvious and not that obvious choices because I still was hesitant. I didn't know anything about life coaching, a part of like the corporate peer coaching. So like a little tricks, but nothing at the extent as when I finished my training and now I'm like, holy guacamole, that was it. I haven't done half of it because it was completely different. And I think to go back also to your second part of the question, when I started to call myself a coach, I would say um, somewhere like I'm counting now, so I'm like brain counted. I think somewhere 6 or 8 weeks, between 6 or 8 weeks after I finished the first step of my education.
Mm. Your education, your coaching education?
Yeah, my coaching education. Yeah,
So after your career in clinical research, you started a education as a coach.
yeah. I decided to pursue this career and try it completely with a full time and a full attention. And so in this case, I quit my job and I started to work um, towards my coaching education. And then obviously, I started to realize how much women had on their plate as well. I'm not denying men has tons of things as well, but it's still a different perceptions. And so for me, where it comes the headless chicken runs, busting all the beliefs and busting all the expectations that women have when you're running around between job, family, distant family, friends, hobbies. It's a lot. And the one thing you might have a difficulties is sit down, have a minute for yourself, and not hiding in the bathroom for that.
Not hiding in the bathroom for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you define your like your coaching nature? How did you know that this was the type of coaching you wanted to do?
That actually was a very long road. I knew that I wanted to work with a female. So for me that was important as well. I'm not saying I never work with the males. I have a men customers as well who just like my personality and they're like, yeah, we're going with you, we had it. But the one thing I definitely wanted to work with females because, as I explained, we have way too many things on our plates. But also, for me, I started to realize how much the expectations also influence what females are doing and how much they running around and how much they want to put on a plate just because it's either expected from the society, from the entire world and the media population, or when they going through the things, they put in all these expectations on themselves. So that was mainly the final piece. The expectations work was mainly the final piece that linked it for me in terms of where I'm going from expectations to productivity, because our productivity is heavily impacted on what we think we need to do all the time and how busy we need to do, because the busier we are, the more productive we are, the better we are, we have a tap on the shoulder. Well, that it all comes from expectation and a certain level of stress and pressure that is around you.
When you call your clients hustlers, right? So what is a common, I'm thinking about people listening to this. What is a common situation that your clients find themselves in when they come to you, when they finally reach out for help?
The most common one that they literally don't have any room to breathe in their agenda. They so busy with other planning or other over planning and over committing because they have families that needs their attention. They have work that can be very, very demanding. And in the meantime they also have their own family, but extended family, like I don't know, in-laws, cousins, and so on and so on. And at that point they so overwhelmed and busy trying to fulfill everybody else's needs, but they completely disregarding themselves.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you do with your clients? Like in such a scenario, what would you recommend to someone?
It will sound very counterproductive. But if you do have a lot of things to do, the one thing that you still need to do is add another thing or two.
Okay.
Because the one at a certain point you have a level of until when you can manage the things and when it stops to be manageable. But at the point when things will stop to be manageable, you will look back to everything that you need to do and you will cross out a lot of things because they will stop to be a priority, they stop to be very important, or they stop to be very urgent. So your filter of what is important and urgent increases very much, and you crossing out a lot of things. And then you start to reprioritizing and saying like, ah, I guess that wasn't that important as I thought it was.
So I guess the key is when you say adding something to the list, it means adding something higher priority to the list. Did I understand that correctly?
it's not only supposed to be the high priority, but for example, a lot of people comes to me and say, I don't have time to for myself 1 hour to sit on a coaching session and do it. I'm like, I'm so busy, I don't have anything anymore. I cannot find 1 hour in my agenda. And it's exactly where I'm saying it's exactly why you better work with me, because first of all, you will find this 1 hour. If you sit down, look at it, and you will want to make 1 hour of your time, you will make it. You will rearrange things, you will cross out things from your list, because now you think you need to do it all, but no. It's more like this goes the expectation and the reality that not everything is needed, or not everything we should do, that it's so important and urgent that it cannot wait, or the most favorite one, it doesn't mean that it needs to be done by you. You have all the things in your list, but who said that it's need to be done only by you?
Interesting. So when you say adding that 1 hour of coaching, it almost, to me, it almost sounds like you now make the commitment to work on yourself and your productivity. It's like a, yeah, it's like an external proof, so to speak, that you've made the commitment.
Indeed, you're making the commitment, but it's also obviously while we're working, we working on the different aspects, and decluttering your agenda, it's more the second stage of the whole process. And there it's still you making the commitment, you working on yourself, you focusing 1 hour weekly purely on yourself, hands down, nobody else. I don't care what's happening with family, friend, unless somebody is in the hospital, we're focusing on you, sort of. But then in the other way, it's also all your commitments and all your to-do list comes also from the expectations, as we discussed earlier. And for me, the first thing while we're starting to work is um, rewriting all this expectation, knowing where they're coming from, what they're doing, and how they're working. And then we're clearing them up, re-recording this old record that like nagging voice inside your head, you should not do this, you should do that, you should not sit down, you need otherwise use this. And no, it's like we're starting to reprogram, re-record all the messages in your head and work towards this. And then the next step is a declutter of your agenda, where you have even more breathing time.
So it sounds like you work with your clients in stages. Stage one would be managing expectations, and then stage two is dealing with the clutter, as you said. Are there more stages in your process?
I usually focus like three stages. So the first, as we said, the expectations, the mindset, the every aspect that goes with that. And then the second stage is declutter your agenda, declutter your responsibilities. So you're starting to delegate, eliminate, and automate a lot of things. And the final one is new you, how I want to call it, but it's more the fine tuning stage where you're trying everything already. So you're implementing all the tools, you're implementing all the knowledge, and then we just fine tune for specific situation, because life happens. Nobody stay in a stable, completely stable environment. Everything changing. But then you have the tools to adapt and to know, okay, tomorrow or next week it would be, I don't know, the week full of meetings, it's hectic time at work, how I can navigate myself, or what I need to do today so I can prep for this week but not feeling overwhelmed, and go back to this running stage, but be more confident and calm during this period.
So the improved productivity is like the result. It almost sounds like it becomes a natural consequence of all the work that you do with people before that.
Absolutely. It's like your natural progression.
Yeah, no, I like that. I noticed that in a lot of coaching where you figure out the underlying stuff, let's put it that way, and then the the tangible result, the objective, almost becomes a natural next step. It becomes effortless in some cases even.
Yeah, indeed. In certain part, it's as a effortless, or it's become your so much your second nature that you is start to be. It's logical that you doing it this way because like how else would you do it? The same like I don't know. You learn how to tie your shoes. How else would you do it? You tie your shoes this way, and it's like until the very last day you tying it this way.
Yeah, the identity shift that happens from not being a headless chicken to being what? More in control?
So to be creative and curious of what else is possible and reconnecting with yourself.
Mm, I love that. Valeria, when you started, you mentioned you had your career and then you did the coaching education. Then 6 to 8 weeks after that, you started officially calling yourself, presenting yourself to the world as a coach. How did you get your first few clients? How did you get started?
Um, the very first client, and she is amazing. She's my returning client, and I love her to be on the moon and back. We had a conversation. We basically had a conversation. She was asking what I'm doing, and I was still learning how to be a coach. I still was in the middle of my studies, but it's already was far enough that I can say that I'm a coach. And she was interested to know what it is, what I liked about the coaching, how I decided to be a coach, and where it's going. And from that she became my client. She didn't become my client straight away, but after a few months she called me back and she said like, I remember you're a coach, would you work with me, I have this and this. And then it's how it started.
Amazing. And how did you connect with her in the first place? Was it like through social media or networking events or your social circle?
uh yeah, she is part of theater group where I'm part as well. So we not closest friends, we're acquaintances more in this respect. And yeah, she got curious. We got talking on one of the evenings, and we go from there. We hit it like that.
That's something I hear a lot from established coaches that they got started simply by having conversations.
One of the things all the coaches forget, well, me sometimes as well, our job is to ask questions, basically. It's not about anything else. It just asks people questions. How is it going? Where it's going? What is happening in their life? And listen and see where it's progressing. But it's indeed the very first circle or surrounding would be people around you, be it a very close friends, be it a little bit wider audience. You go, you talk.
When you ask people questions, does that mean you're indirectly coaching anyone you get in touch with, or do you draw a line there?
You do need to draw a line because it can be a curious conversation, obviously, in terms of you're genuinely interested in how is it going with the person, what's bothering them, if you see or you sense that it's bothering them, and you genuinely want to know. But when you going into coaching, the person needs to agree with that. Whoever you're talking with, you're not just starting blindly to coach. You can ask questions where they will start to think about and like, oh, I haven't thought about this from this way or this. But the proper coaching can do like a relationship person needs to agree with that. You cannot and should not just blindly start to coach left and right people without their consent.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you clarified that because I think many new coaches they struggle with this idea a bit, with just have conversations and, help people because it can feel like we're crossing boundaries uninvited. And we actually do. If we just start coaching, as you said, left and right, we actually do cross boundaries, right? But I love how you made the distinction to curious conversations.
Yeah. In the end of the day, it's the same when you talk to your friends. Do you constantly switch into the coaching mode? No, you enjoy the conversation. You're curious to know what's happening in their life, how they're progressing, if they have an issue, what's happening. You involve with them in this conversation. What would be the difference potentially? You like the good friends, they will start to give you the advices and like, have you tried this, and this, and this. In the other cases, it's the same discussion. You just stop there without like, I'm still curious, how is it going? You ask if you, the one thing you can ask person to see if you can support them in any way during their difficult times. And then if they say yes, you can go into coaching, explaining a little bit what it's going. Some people will say, no, I'm absolutely fine that you just listen.
Yeah, true. What, thinking back to when you started launching your coaching practice, what is some of the advice that you wish you had, a couple of years ago about launching your coaching practice that you know today?
Uh, the one is, first of all, do not follow obsessively to all the advices that you see or hear on the internet, especially from more established coaches, the gurus who will teach you how to sell, how to position, how to brand. No. What it will get you, it will get into your head that you're not doing enough, where you're still trying to figure out and put all the puzzle pieces together. So this is one. At a certain point, sit down and work through what you want and how you envision it, what you want to bring. It doesn't need to be crystal clear, the branding messages. No, just for yourself that you have the idea that you feel what you actually want to bring. Because in certain cases, if you don't, you will put yourself in so many boxes and you follow on so many advices that you will lose yourself and you will lose your voice in all of that because you will try to fill it in with something else.
Yeah, that is great advice. Did you fall for the trap a bit that you tried too much to follow expert advice that didn't apply to you?
Obviously, I was the new coach as well, obviously. And in this case, even further years, there are a lot of things that you will think, okay, I need this and this and this, and you will once in a while feel and like fall back on these traps. But for me, the one thing obvious was I remember our final days in the coaching school, and basically the next day messages was now you need to go out and sell. So now you ready, you go out and you sell. This completely playing so many tricks on yourself. And it's also the very first messages that you're starting to receive on the social media when you announce, okay, I'm a coach, I'm starting, and then bam, it's hitting you like a rock solid wall. You need to sell, we teach you this, we did. you fall in for this trap because you also want, in the end of the day, you want to be successful, you want to achieve something. But here it's one of the things you will need a minute, and don't afraid to take this minute.
Yeah, that is really good advice. And you're right. As soon as somebody, realizes, hey, I can start coaching people, that's the loudest message they hear from all directions is sell, 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 sell. What is it that worked for you so far? Or what is it that you've, at least, until now, you've identified as that's what's working for me?
The one thing definitely working for me, it's have your friends knowing what you're doing and you can explain. And the other thing is literally not relying purely on the social media, but also just talk to people in certain cases. Do things more in person. I don't know. You're writing a podcast here, so we're still talking in person. You find a place where you can present yourself, talk about something, or do a workshop. Be closer to people, and then it would be much easier for everything.
And then basically through curious conversations, there will be opportunities where people ask, so what do you do? And then you can freely share, and some of those people will be intrigued to learn more, right?
It's indeed one of our teachers actually said, like, when they start to talk to people now, people see a huge difference between a normal person, I mean, not coach. And then if coach is more settled already with himself, I'm not talking about that it's not eager, but you come down from I need to sell, I need to climb, but you come down and like, you know what, I want to have a conversation with a person. They usually notice the difference because then you start to listen and you just asking the question curiously, asking like, how do you feel with all this shazam that going on around your life? How do they turning it to them without giving the advice? And that makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't feel needy anymore.
It doesn't feel needy, but it's a very famous quote, I think, from Angela, and I forgot the name. I think people, I will. This potentially needs to be added. Or the quote is, "People will never forget. People will forget how what did you say, but people will never forget how you made them feel."
Yeah, I heard that one. That is such a good quote.
So it's Angela, and for the life of me, the last name skip my brain for now, but it's really true. People always remember how you make them feel because they will come back to this feeling, or they will. It's potential you said something good as well, but they will come back to, I actually feel good and could talk to you freely without being judged, for example. They want that. They haven't all the rest in their life constantly running.
So, Valeria, any hustler feeling stuck in the headless chicken run, where can they reach out to you? Where can they find you?
They can find me any day, anytime on LinkedIn, just by typing my name. So it's Valeria Karusinova. I don't know if I need to spell my name, but
No, I'll put the links below the video.
you put the link. So magical. So they can always find me in on LinkedIn. They always can reach out. Messages. I love messages. There is no sales conversations. There is always pure conversations. And on my profile, it's also there is a freebie for them if they want to reclaim a little bit of their time. So they always can download it. It's for free and no strings attached.
What's the freebie?
The freebie, so it's a free guide that I prepared for the women hustlers, how to navigate or reclaim a little bit of time
Perfect.
already today for from the busy agenda, and it's with a practical step-by-step guide how they can apply it, and it's they don't need more than 15 minutes for that one.
Perfect. So any female hustlers who want to reclaim some of their time, maybe hustle a little less, they can grab that from your website for free. I'll put that link below as well.
Yeah.
Valeria, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your coaching stories here today. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Likewise, Morris, likewise. And next trip needs to be in Switzerland. Now I want to recheck the Swiss chocolate.
Yeah, well, if you're here, reach out. We should meet up for some chocolate.
Absolutely, we'll do that. Thank you very much for having me and providing the space for everyone to have the questions answered or just hear different stories.
Thank you too. Bye.